Today's new generation is the most promising generation in the history of the world. Agree or not? They stand at the peak of civilizations. They stand at summit of ages. They also stand at the junction of two crossroads. They stand at the junction of two crossroads. There are specialities and features for each road. One of the roads is the much traveled pathway. It is a broad pathway. It is a traditional pathway. It is a conventional pathway. We all have traveled through that pathway only. Many generations, for many decades and centuries have been passed through this pathway only. When children are driven through this pathway, this traditional pathway, this conventional pathway, ultimately and eventually, they will develop certain characteristic features, certain behavioral patterns. These characteristic features and patterns have been very well defined by worldly renowned educational researchers. Precisely speaking, number one feature is mediocrity of mind. What is mediocrity of mind? Weak level of thinking. Generally, if children are driven through the traditional pathway, the level of thinking is not enough challenged. That is mediocrity of mind. And second feature is mediocrity of character. Weak character. General feature it is. And third one is social decline. Social personality, social development is deprived. Is not according to the expectation. It is also in the category of mediocrity. So these are the features. Do you agree or not? Agree or not? Now I think it has become more worse, especially in our dwelling places. The Vada 2 is the best example. Violence, all sorts of evils are employed and exercised in the school and college campuses. It is even not mediocrity. It is hazardous. It is a catastrophe, catastrophically hazardous. But my dears, there is the second pathway. That is the alternative pathway. That is a new pathway. That is the innovative pathway. That is the uphill pathway. That is the hope of the modern world. If children are driven through this pathway, the alternative pathway, the innovative pathway, they also ultimately and eventually develop certain characteristic features, behavioral patterns. They will be habituated with all those things. These behavioral patterns are also very clearly defined by educational researchers. Precisely speaking, the number one requirement is each child required to have very strong analytical ability. Number one. Number two, children showcases above average creativity. Above average creativity. If children are driven through this pathway, second pathway, they showcase above average creativity. They reflect surprising. I will repeatedly say 3 times. Surprising, surprising, and surprising people skills. What is a people skill? A people skill is the skill of coordinating the people, the fellow people, organizing the people, leading the people, giving orientation to the people, mobilizing the people, inspiring the people. That is people skill. So the capacity of addressing a small gathering is highly essential, fearlessly, without having any inhibition, without having the stage fright, without shivering the knees, without having throttling, without getting armpit sweat. Confidently able to communicate with the people in very good language. People skill. Now you just compare yourself. How many of you have accommodated this kind of a skill, the people skill, fairly well or in a very exemplified manner? Whether it is at the foundation level, whether it is an emerging level, whether it is an established level, whether it is an exemplified level, you should know this is the rubrics to evaluate your people skill. Tell me where you are. So, these children who are driven through the new pathway is expected to have stunningly exciting people skill. At any moment, at any time, they are able to stand in front of the people and convey their ideas. They don't have any kind of stage fight. Because we all have traveled through which pathway? Traditional. Mediocrity. Mediocrity. Yeah. The system. We have to blame the system. Should we carry the same system again and again? Now also? No. No. That is expired. And next future is they will have powerfully nurtured right brains. They are right brainers. They have the powerful right brains. What is the difference between left brain and right brain? Now just imagine, in classrooms, the lion's share of time, be engaged to challenge which brain? Which brain? You are going with some teaching of language and some others are going to teach science, that is logical, or mathematics. Done. Yeah, lion's share of the time we are engaging to challenge, to stimulate the left brain. Do you teach music? Right brain. Do you teach drawing pictures, coloring, painting, photography, direction of movies and all? That is what? Spatial intelligence, right brain. Do you teach them how to give leadership to the students? Interpersonal intelligence, sociability, intrapersonal intelligence. And these children, when children are driven through this pathway, they become innovators, they become inventors, they become design thinkers. They develop the skill of maneuvering the facts and are able to solve problems, as she said. They are able to solve problems of the world. They are able to define or derive new solutions to the old problems as well. So they will be able to thrive and sustain in the world, competing with the fellow students of the global scenario. Because now we are living in a global village. There are no limitations. We can fly anytime, anywhere. Also we can operate, we can access, we can communicate with the people any part of the world, from anywhere. So it is an open world now. So they must be competent, equally competent with anybody else, any part of the world. So these all should be accommodated, nurtured. Keeping all these things in mind, only the scheme of 21st century schooling or education has been decided. And the 21st century scheme of education is having some foundation, some fundamental building bricks. Schools all over the world get one and only one chance. Schools all over the world get one and only one chance. What? To prepare a child For what? To prepare a child for a future that is passionately desired by the child, fervently expected by the child, ardently dreamed by the child. Schools all over the world get one and only one chance to prepare a child, precisely speaking, for a future that is fervently desired by the child. So here $1 million question comes. What is the question? How the schools are going to take up this rare, challenging opportunity to meet the expectation, requirement, dream of the child. How the schools are going to take up this marvelous opportunity? This is the question. So, who will drive the children the uphill path? If it is not by the school, if it is not by the parents, where shall it happen? If it is not at the school, if it is not back at home, when shall it happen? If it is not now, when shall it happen? Tomorrow? If it is not happening now, when shall it happen? If it is not happening now. Forget about the past, because it became the part of history. And don't worry about the future, because it's a mystery. There is no any degree of assurance for that, whether we get it or not. Next moment we may die. Khalas. So tomorrow is the future. Future is a mystery. But my dears, now is the present. Present, the synonym of present is what? Gift. Birthday gift. Birthday present. So now is a gift. Now is the present. The continuity of the now, every now and then. The continuity of the now is what? Future. So how do you engage in now will ensure the future automatically. By default, it will ensure the future. You don't worry about the future. How do you engage in now? Then future will automatically, the outcome of the progressions of now. So what we should do, we should update ourselves. We should adapt ourselves to meet, to facilitate the need of the hour, to facilitate the call of the era, to provide the aspirations, according to the aspirations of the 21st century generation students. So answering to this question only, the foundations of all the aspects of the scheme of 21st century schooling practice has been derived by the world-renowned educational researchers, academicians, and business leaders. So what are the fundamental building bricks? The theoretical aspects, we need to have some idea at least about it.